Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here outside, catching a little vitamin D, trying to boost that immune system. And before I get into, some more thoughts on Shadowgate, the film, the arrest of Millie Weaver, apparently we have information about what exactly she's being arrested for, which is still extremely bizarre from what I've seen. Patrick Bergy, who's in the film as probably the main source of information, along with the quote-unquote Tory Says, who seems to be an anonymous ex-Navy private contractor whistleblower. At least that's what she's presenting herself as, right? And then we're also going to talk about Alex Jones, the Jones Meister himself. So thumbs up, subscribe. Let's get in on the nitty-gritty, okay? Let's talk about it. So number one, apparently, from what I understand, and this could be wrong, but I actually was just given this information talking to a friend I hadn't seen since before I left. But they're saying that Millie Weaver and her mother were in some kind of a fight, okay? And that while this fight was going on, Millie Weaver was being taped by her mother unbeknownst to Millie. And then Millie finds out about it and then takes the phone. And maybe that video has been released or not. I'm not sure. But in order for, I guess, Millie Weaver to be arrested on something like that, because I guess that her mother at the time did call the police and, tried to charge her or whatever. I don't know. You would think that they would have let the mother know beforehand, right? So I'm just saying the whole thing seems very bizarre. It also seems bizarre that her husband also got arrested. But the three charges, again, obstruction of justice, burglary, and then domestic abuse. So the domestic abuse one especially all of it seems odd. And it does seem oddly timed. And now, I'm not one of those people that's saying she was definitely arrested because of this documentary film. It's good to see little kids running around, actually having a good time at the park. It kind of makes me smile. Thumbs this up. Because again, if you watch that video of Millie being arrested, her son, her little boy, is certainly not smiling. He's crying. Now, let's again, fully disclose, if you watch my review of the film, it's not like I was fawning over it. I said it was very well done. It had some really interesting information, and it could be part of a disinformation campaign. And I asked, I think, the right questions. But let's talk about some more of those questions, right? Patrick Bergy, for instance, the Israel does everything crowd, automatically loves to jump down my throat about everything. And Bergy himself, during the Alex Jones interview, immediately when talked about other nation states that act this way, mentioned Israel and how aggressive they were. So, I don't know much about Bergy other than what he's claiming in Shadowgate, right? And then I found an interview of him with somebody else from about, I think it was either November or December of 2019. So, I'm just saying. See, there you go. Shadowgate is Zionist propaganda. I saw no evidence of that whatsoever. But, okay. And again, I don't know how much information is accurate in the film, other than, again, both sides were trying to use Cambridge Analytica. They all use those companies, right? And that's what I think I liked about the film that much, is that it went after Manafort and even Roger Stone to an extent, and showed you none of these people are angels, and showed you basically how contracting works within the intelligence community. Now, whether their claims are true or not, I don't know. I will say this, that, obviously Bergy himself is a very right-wing leaning guy. Who knows, maybe he's pulling an operation for the Trump team. Because the other thing that he said on the Jones show that made me suspect, but again, I would have Bergy on to talk about this, is how he thinks that WikiLeaks was derived from these type of shadow organizations, right? And think about it right now. Trump all of a sudden is talking about bringing home Snowden maybe, or looking at the issue at the same time with that dichotomy of his administration going after Assange. 39 thumbs up. Let's get those thumbs up. So these are all, very, very viable questions. And Tori herself and her legitimacy. It's a viable question. Apparently she's been on YouTube for some time, has a decent following, has gotten a ton of subscribers during this film. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm not saying that Shadowgate, quote unquote, is, you know, super accurate in the information that's provided by Tori or Bergy, because, you know, Tori, number one, in the film says that if she was basically creating a campaign right now, Millie Weaver wouldn't know it, right? So it's kind of that double speak that anything could be deception. And then Bergy said the same thing in the Alex Jones interview. He said that you could be an asset and not even be on the payroll or not be aware of it. And I think that's really important to spread disinformation. So, you know, they're pretty open about the tools that are being used. I would say that there. I don't know what to tell you. I think that it's interesting. There is no real, for instance, documents that they present that were ever classified in nature, so I don't know that it goes against any kind of terms of service. Anything that I know about the classified documents is supposedly this guy is sending classified packages and dossiers to certain people in politics, supposedly. And I think the reason that I gave this one a little bit more credentials than, say, Out of the Shadows, the one about Hollywood pedophilia, is that, you know, I don't know that Bergy and Tori are basically not only, I wouldn't want to call them grifters, but people that have promoted the grift of Q, right? However, Bergy, when asked about Q, he said he didn't really have an opinion one way or the other, whether he knew it was government operatives or it was a complete hoax or what it was. Again, that's from an interview all the way back in either November or December. So he is definitely a pro-Trump guy. He knows that these kind of operations, Q being one of them, right, no matter what it is successful on his side of the fence. So we have to always keep that in mind. So let's get to Alex Jones. We started with Jonesy. I posted a picture of Jones at Barton Springs yesterday. He stormed Barton Springs and you went swimming with Alex Jones. There was some picture of him hugging some guy. And I don't know if that's his son or just a fan he was hugging or whatever. But I posted it. And by the way, 56 thumbs up. Let's get them up. I posted it and I said, this is the Alex Jones that I can support. That's all I said. And why is that? First of all, I got nothing but love in my heart. You know, Alex making peace or hugging somebody, why is that a bad thing? Are there a ton of homophobes out there that can't see a man hugging another man and see that's okay? I just hugged my buddy. Hadn't seen him in months. Shook his hand, pulled him in, hugged him. Okay, no big deal. So I like the peaceful reaching out hugs Alex Jones, and that's a bad thing. You know, the trolls love to troll, man. They troll it. And the other thing is that I actually am glad he went to Barton Springs and he decided that they were not going to dictate to him whether or not people could go to these things. We need more people doing that. All those people should be commended. And it reminded me of the Alex Jones of yesteryear. The one that I saw on America Destroyed by Design at national parks, giving it to people way back in the day. So agree, love, hate Alex Jones, whatever. I think it's okay to legitimately criticize somebody when you disagree with them. Jason, that's wild. That's not very 2020 of you, Jason. We play team baseball here. Everything's about left and right, Republican and Democrat. Everything's about being a shill or not a shill. Not in my world. I like to have a thing called discernment. That's just me. So it's another gorgeous day. Honestly, the park should be packed. I'm glad that one family was out here, but it's almost abandoned here. It's almost abandoned. The middle of August, it's in the mid 70s, cool breeze, sun shining, great day. You know, but at the same time, there's a lot of darkness going on here. Let's talk about really quickly the conversation I just had with my friend. Again, we're back in New York State. I've known the guy since I was 19, so 22 years. 22 years I've known Jimmy. And he's a business owner. here, and he owns property here. And in the beginning of June, he lost his brother, his younger brother. And Jimmy and I are a similar age, too. His brother was only 37 years old. Okay? So he lost to it. It wasn't like a sketchy thing. His heart gave out. He was very angry about all this stuff. He was down in South Carolina. The way that he was handled, he died, I guess, while the EMTs were there, and the EMTs didn't want to do things and resuscitate him. And it's a very sketchy, sad story, but then the after the fact story is just as sad. You know, he wasn't able to have a proper funeral, a proper service. You know, these guys are Catholics, Catholic Italian. A proper memorial for his brother. And, you know, my brother came out last night. He's my younger brother. He's, you know, man, he's going to be 40 this November. Man, we're getting old. But he's still my little brother, man. I don't see him any other way. I can't imagine having to bury him and then not being able to hold a funeral for him, to hold a memorial service for him, or any loved one. And, you know, we continue on through this whole thing. People still can't see their parents here. People are still in fear. You know, loved ones can't have services, but then certain people like Lewis get services. It's nuts. It's nuts. And it really upsets me, and it makes me want to keep going and drive forward. You know, take a look at the other side of this, guys. I mean, look, I mean, we're in nature, a beautiful, beautiful area. I mean, look at this. It's gorgeous here. And people are so scared that they're not taking part in this. People are being deprived of their basic human rights. And none of this is ending until they say it's going to end. And it's not going to just end. It's going to go on forever. This is an invisible enemy. We have to push back now. We have to push back now. We have to push back now. So, thumbs the video up on your way out. Subscribe, share, join the Burmist Brigade. Remember, we're fully demonetized here, 4+ months. The GoFundMe link is down below. Really trying to, you know, boost that up to at least get it to $2,000 within this week. Especially because I'm trying to hit the road by the end of this week. Hopefully with my sister to get a new place, because I'm done here. Check me out on Rockfin. Follow me over on Twitter. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the flip.